Back in another place, in another time, before Scandoval. That's right, before Scandoval. Back when she was BFFs with Tom and Ariana. First, she fell out with Ariana. Now she fell out with Tom. But back when she was friends with Tom and Ariana, when Tom and Ariana were together, before Scandoval, back when Jax wasn't on Bravo, before the Valley was greenlit, back before Stassi was back. I mean, she's not back on Bravo, but she's back in the Vanderverse. Before all of that, we sat down with the one and only Billie Lee. I find this chat so interesting. I always find it interesting when we look back at a chat and just see how many things were foreshadowed, how many things are different. This wasn't that long ago. It was right before Scandoval broke, literally right before. So we share these never before seen videos of our chat with Billie Lee. And was there foreshadowing of what's to come? I mean, not even just Scandoval, but her fallout with Tom. I find these chats so interesting, and we share a series of them here today.
And I fought for that. And then they finally did it. And they did it at a steakhouse. And I'm vegan. And it's just like, and then I find out the producer that like set that up, like was the producer that from the get-go, what I didn't feel good vibes with. So there's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens. And look, my friends all eat meat. Like it's not like I was like screaming and crying, you know, like, but it's just like, if you're going to show who I am, like, let it be a vegan restaurant. There's 1,000 in LA. Like, just little shit like that I was just constantly disappointed.
Did you talk like more about, like your plot, just like being like you're an activist. So like, did you talk more about like trans rights and like kind of work that in? And then like when you watch it back, it was totally edited out, or?
Oh my God, I did a whole entire thing with Cover California. And I was really excited. Like James was DJing. But then I saw Jax there and Jax was having drama and there was cameras and I was like, oh God, like it's really just a backdrop. Like something that I think is really important and valuable. It was really just used as, I think I was just used as a token and I think some of my storylines were just used as a backdrop. I mean, great. We did get a little bit of Equality California in there and I was super excited about that. And the whole Equality team was really happy. But it just really was the stories. And I guess that was me also understanding reality television too. Like no one gives a fuck about you. You're just, and I did so many press interviews because it was like, you're the new cast member, you're the trans cast member. It was insane how many press interviews that I did. But then like the story wasn't that great. Like I felt like, I don't know, again, just disappointed.
Yeah, I don't really think anyone in reality TV cares about you or me or any of the other cast members just from this job that I've done for so long. That doesn't shock me. Like, when did you, because like, look, like I've spoken to people, like I had Charlie Burnett on here twice and she gives like and I know you've talked about this, like she gives a pretty accurate or detailed story of like, no, like Stassi was this, Kristen was this, Katie was like total mean girls. Like you had, like as the new cast member, like did you have that? Was it mostly from them?
At first it was like a lot of love and it was almost a little fake in a way, like performative when the cameras were up. Especially like people like from Jax and stuff like would be like flirtatious almost in a weird way. Like I know like when I first entered, he was breaking up with Brittany at the time, I think, or something. And it was like very like flirtatious vibes and like all this pouring love. But then when the cameras are down, I mean, I remember Jax being like, I don't like fuck dudes. And I'm like, what? Are you referring to me? Like, I'm not a dude. And then he went on like talking about how like he kissed someone, found out she was a dude. And like, he's like, I don't fucking do that. And like, it was just, I experienced a lot of microaggressions. And people didn't see that. And some things were even on camera, but they were cut out. You didn't see that. And microaggressions, this is what my book's about, but we'll talk about that later. But, it's sometimes they're rooted in ignorance. And I've experienced that on both ends. And, Lisa is a great person. I think she has a great heart, but her ignorance, like, sometimes just shocked me. Like, the things that she would say.
Like what?
I mean, the first time I met her, she said, I knew you were a man or a dude or used to be a dude by the way you down that beer. And I was like, what? And like, first of all, I'm from the Midwest, Indiana. Like, my cis girlfriends can drink faster than me. Like, they can down a beer and crush it, like, better than I can. So that was just like, it was just like one thing after another. I remember Stassi like telling everyone, like, look at her boobs. Can you believe they're real? Like, they're better than mine. It was very much like I was on display and I was an object to be discussed. And I wasn't fully comfortable. And again, I'm now doing stand-up and I'm learning a lot about what I'm comfortable talking about. But at the time, excuse me, at the time it was just, it wasn't on my terms. It was other people saying things and yeah, it just wasn't I didn't feel good. Like, I always ended up feeling like shit every time I got done hanging out with these people. And the privilege was insane. Like, the privilege from them all having money, the privilege, I wasn't getting paid shit. It was like, here's a trans girl. You're not really giving a shit about her being paid. But then I'm expected to wear all these cute clothes and, you know, Sir would make me change into heels and wear more shows that show my breasts and stuff. But no one was funding any of that. I did tons of press interviews. You don't get paid for that. So, yeah, no one gave a shit. And that just piled on top of being bullied, on top of the cattiness and the negative energy. And then you have to do interviews, which is like, you know, you in front of the camera. And it's just like now you have to rehash this. We want you to sit in front of a camera and we want you to talk about something that happened like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And then they want you to like talk shit about the person. Right. And I don't even like talking shit about the person when I was in the fight with them, let alone redoing it. So in the interviews, I felt literally like so uncomfortable. And I knew that this was not for me. Like, I was like, there's no way my soul is comfortable with like doing this as a job, like sitting down and talking shit and sometimes even making up stuff because they would tell you, well, can you say it more like this? You know, your fed lines.
Right. And obviously when someone asks you that, it's clear what they want you to say. I mean,
yeah.
Was it like, did they ignore you and like want nothing to do with you when you weren't filming? Or it really was like mostly all these microaggressions towards your identity?
I mean, it was both. Like, you know, yeah, sometimes it would be like you hang out with these people on camera, but off camera, you don't hang out with them. You're not really like friends with them. And the people that I hung out with off camera became like my best friends. Like Tom and Ariana, Jesse Montana. I see Sheena like a lot of times at music festivals and stuff, but yeah, those are the people that like I was like, okay, this is real. But other people, like I feel like it was more like a job to them too.
Right. Who was kind of the worst to you out of all these people?
I would say Jax Taylor for sure. Just because he threatened the production that he wouldn't film with me.
Right.
And because he was afraid that he could like say something wrong and get fired and lose his career, which they all end up doing anyway. Like, and I was just like going around being like, hey, you guys are saying really